he abandoned his daughter Suri. When asked why he spent just 10 days with Suri between June and November last year, the star says he spent as much time with her as...
That Tom Cruise hasn't seen his daughter for more than a year. It's a pretty extraordinary revelation.
Tom just has visitation rights, which I guess he hardly ever uses.
Amid all the drama that Katie Holmes is allegedly trying to ban Suri from meeting her father, Suri has now finally mustered up the courage to speak that she desperately wants to meet her father, Tom. But on the other hand, some insiders and reports have something else to say. What's all this matter? Let's just dig in to find out.
Yes, Tom Cruise has indeed completely disowned and abandoned his daughter Suri.
Well, this is very confusing because apparently Tom disclosed that it is Katie who is trying to stop Tom from meeting Suri. But it turned out that the truth was something else. Recently, according to some reports, it was confirmed that Tom had disowned his daughter, which made quite a serious stir among the netizens and Tom's fans. But Tom still continues to be estranged from his daughter. According to Page 6, Mission Impossible star 60 has not seen the 16-year-old in a very long time and is not a part of her life. The media outlet was informed by another reliable source that the Top Gun actor had not seen his daughter, who is 16 years old, in a very long time, and that he does not play an active role in her life.
Tom Cruise hasn't seen his only biological child for almost a decade, and reportedly it was his choice to cut off all communication with her.
In April 2006, Cruise and his then-girlfriend Katie Holmes became parents to a daughter named Suri. Nevertheless, the high-profile divorce that the couple went through in 2011 caused a rift between Cruise and his daughter. But what is even more confusing is that this information was disclosed by Tom himself. Following the breakup of his relationship with Holmes, the actor from Mission Impossible revealed in court documents from his 2012 defamation case against Bauer Media that he had no communication with Suri for a period of 3 months after the breakup. Tom said, "Listen, when there is a divorce, things change. It's not an ideal scene. It's not an ideal situation." But what was Tom's real reason behind allegedly abandoning his daughter? Cruise is also a father to 3 children. His ex-wife, Nicole Kidman, is the mother of his 2 oldest children, Isabella and Connor. His ex-wife, Katie Holmes, is the mother of his youngest child, Suri. Although it is obvious that Cruise has a wonderful relationship with Isabella and Connor, and both children are active members of his Scientology church, it is possible that Cruise does not have a relationship with Suri. In point of fact, when Holmes and Cruise got divorced, Cruise stated that one of the reasons they broke up was because Holmes wanted to keep Suri away from the Scientology religion. When Suri's mother, Katie Holmes, filed for divorce from her husband, which Tom never expected to happen in 2016, she brought Suri with her to New York. Tom, in an interview, said, "I didn't expect it." He added, "Life is a tragic comedy. You need to have a sense of humor." Moreover, there were rumors that Holmes went through with the divorce once she found out Cruise was supposedly planning to send Suri to a Scientology recruitment school. It was also believed that there was a condition in their divorce settlement that purportedly prohibited Cruise from involving his daughter in the church. This apparently caused damage to his connection with Suri, as the two of them have not been publicly seen together in nearly a decade. Despite this, it has been generally believed that Scientology played a major role in the divorce between Tom and Katie, and the church has been accused of banning relationships between remaining Scientologists and family members who have left the fold. On the other hand, there is no evidence to support the notion that this was applicable to Tom and Suri. In point of fact, the organization has categorically rejected the allegations, declaring in a previous interview with Us Weekly, "Scientologists respect the faith of others, associate with, and befriend members of every religion. Scientologists do not cut ties with non-Scientologist friends or family members because they have chosen another religion. Given that Scientology is a new religion, Scientologists often have family members and friends who are not Scientologists and who may practice another faith or no faith at all. This causes no conflict for Scientologists." The notion that humans are spiritual beings that live through an infinite number of lives is at the core of Scientology, which was established by Ron Hubbard in the early 1950s and was described as such by The Guardian. In the 1980s, Cruise was introduced to it by his first wife, Mimi Rogers, whose father, Phil Spickler, used to be a high-ranking member of the church. Cruise's first wife was also a member of the church. In 1990, Cruise ended his relationship with Rogers, and the following year he wed Nicole Kidman. But they also split up in 2001, and the reason behind their breakup was speculated by the Scientology Church. However, the church has been accused of banning relationships between remaining Scientologists and family members who have left the fold. But the point is, how can just religion be the reason for this stir? You might not believe it, but Tom Cruise was overjoyed to welcome his third kid, Suri Cruise, into the world. In fact, he reportedly purchased ultrasound equipment so he could check in on Suri every day. Cruise also disclosed that the machine cost up to $200,000 because he reassured people that the machine would be donated to a hospital after Katie Holmes delivered birth. It appeared that he was aware that the purchase was on the extravagant end of the spectrum. Nonetheless, not everyone supported the action. The American Institute of Ultrasound in Medicine even published a statement criticizing the purchase, calling it borderline abusive to use the ultrasound machine. President Leonard Greenbaum Maryland said, in part, that Tom Cruise's recent purchase of an ultrasound machine for personal use at home is both inappropriate and in violation of FDA rules addressing the sale of medical equipment. But Tom only did such a thing because of his unmeasurable love for his unborn daughter. Anyways, on April 18, 2006, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes became parents to their daughter, Suri Cruise. According to all stories, and especially Cruise's, Suri's entrance into the world was rather amazing. This is the consensus among all accounts. Not only did he start to love his daughter before she was born, but Tom also thought that Suri's birth was spiritual. Tom said in an interview, "It was everything that we wanted it to be. It was spiritual. It was powerful. It was indescribable." And this is why it is very hard for the public to believe that the person who loved his daughter so much can really live apart from her. One of the fans said, "Heartbreaking that anyone would abandon a child. This creates a lifetime of loss for the child. Such respect for Katie for putting her daughter first. Shame on Tom and society for not holding him accountable for his actions." And there is another reason also why people are bashing Tom so hard. Technically speaking, Tom is not required to disown his daughter according to the laws of Scientology. However, the laws were apparently miscategorized by the media. There is no such law in Scientology which says that to call it quits with the people who are not associated with the faith.
It is not true that you're not allowed to associate with non-believers. It's not even true that you're not allowed to associate with former members.
But despite this, Tom kept emphasizing that the reason behind his disconnection with Suri is Scientology. To simplify it, let's recall Nicole's relationship with her children with Tom. When Nicole and Tom divorced, there was not any single instance that says that Nicole disconnected from her children as her children were Scientologists. If Scientology is the actual reason behind Tom's disconnection from his daughter Suri, then technically Nicole was also not allowed to keep a connection with her children. But she did not disconnect because there is no such law that exists in Scientology.
According to Scientology, you do not have to disconnect from one of your children just because they are connected to someone else.
Now, this thing made Tom a bad character in this whole story because unless or until someone is a suppressive person, you cannot leave them. So it is assumed that Tom deliberately made Katie a suppressive person and used this situation as a reason by playing tricks and blaming her for publicly speaking ill about Scientology for disconnecting with Suri. In addition to this, Cruise acknowledged that Suri was no longer an active member of the church, as reported by TMZ.
Tom Cruise actually finally confessed that Katie Holmes bailed on him partly because she didn't want Suri to be in Scientology.
Although this indicates that Suri is now considered a suppressive person in the perspective of the Church of Scientology, there have been no remarks made in public to indicate that this is the case. Even a former Scientologist, actress Leah Remini, for instance, claims Katie was labeled a suppressive person for leaving the religion. After this, Leah disclosed to The New York that Scientology considers Katie a suppressive person, which is an enemy, and therefore Tom believes, like all Scientologists, that he can't be connected to Suri. I'm sure his master plan is to wait until Suri gets older so that he can lure her into Scientology. Leah also discussed the divorce settlement between Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, which purportedly included ironclad restrictions, stating that their daughter Suri would not be exposed to anything related to Scientology. She said, "I knew Katie when she was in Scientology, but as time went on and I understood why she did what she did to protect her daughter, I'm only assuming that there's some type of agreement to protect her daughter. In another bombshell interview, she also talked about Tom and how he has taken the responsibility to save this planet by turning it into Scientologist. Leah said, "Although I believe there was a time when Tom was a decent and kind-hearted person, he has morphed himself into David Miscavige, leader of Scientology, and is completely dedicated to Scientology's mission to clear planet Earth, which means making 80% of the world's population into Scientologists." Now, from Leah's narrative, one thing is confirmed. There is a kind of agreement between Tom and Katie, which has led Suri to not meet his father when she desperately wants to meet Tom. And to top it all off, there are also some speculations that Tom does not even believe now that Suri is his own daughter. This is quite shocking for the people who have been involved in this incident emotionally from the very start. One of them said, "I've always wondered what actually did go on through Katie's marriage, plans to get out of it, keep her daughter and herself safe, and the trauma of it all. You definitely know it was a lot by how tight-lipped everyone involved has kept things. I'm sure it got scary. But where does all this hate come from?" So apparently an ex-Scientologist provided some insight into the claimed procedures and ideas of the religion, including a concept that reportedly leads Tom Cruise to believe that his daughter is not actually his biological child. Sam Domingo, a former member of the Church of Scientology, stated this about Tom Cruise in an interview with Radar Online. The church has this idea that children, for example, are just thetans or spirits in the small body. If a kid dies, it doesn't really matter to them. You can get pregnant and you can have another one, and that spirit you lost can come back in a new body. I'm sure if he could rescue Suri from the clutches of her mom, he can. But you know what? He can get her in the next lifetime, so it doesn't really matter. She's not really his daughter. Well, this is quite shocking news, and this caused a negative impact on Tom's reputation as well. And Tom has not made any comments regarding this matter, but in the past, he has been very public about his willingness to sue anyone who suggested that he had abandoned his daughter.
He's suing this magazine for saying that he abandoned Suri. So he's suing for libel, saying that the magazine had no basis for saying it and it was done in reckless disregard for the truth.
In point of fact, Tom Cruise gave a deposition in 2013 in connection with the $50 million libel suit he filed against a magazine publisher for claiming that he had abandoned his daughter Suri. During the deposition, Cruise gave off the impression that he was uneasy as the attorney for the magazine continually inquired if Katie had left their marriage due to the influence of the church. In the end, he responded by saying that was one of the assertions. During his deposition, Cruise also stated that he had only seen Suri for a total of 10 days between the dates of June 18, 2012 and Thanksgiving in the same year. Tom was questioned at length by the magazine's lawyer over his wish to see Suri. The attorney reached into his file cabinet and produced aircraft records that demonstrated Tom went from Pittsburgh to London on October 15th for a convention of the International Association of Scientologists and then flew back to Pittsburgh the following day. Tom attempted to justify his conduct by claiming that it was critically vital for him to be there. However, the lawyer quickly clarified that this was not typical of Tom's visitation schedule with Suri.
And about suggestions, Cruise abandoned Suri, he said, I mean, come on. That is absolutely disgusting.
The attorney for the magazine brought up the portion of the report in which they claimed that Suri was sad and weeping a lot when Tom was absent during another portion of the deposition. Tom then confirmed that he had been missing, but he vehemently disputed that Suri was upset about it. People who use the internet have criticized Tom Cruise over the years for allegedly leaving his kid in order to pursue his religious beliefs. One person wrote, "Where there is a will, there is a way." Cruise will regret that he does not have a relationship with his daughter. Cruise is entitled, greedy, and narcissistic. She's better off without him, and only time will tell this story ends. Blessings to Katie and Suri. On the other hand, ever since she ended her relationship with Tom, the former star of Dawson's Creek has led a low-key existence in New York with her daughter. The mother and daughter are inseparable, and they are frequently seen strolling side by side.
Focus on something that, in the eyes of the public, you have no ability to really purge it from them altogether. So I think that those are tough lawsuits.
It should come as no surprise that the two people are extremely close to one another, given that they appear to have only each other to rely on. According to an insider, being raised by a single mom in New York has made Suri who she is. Katie has always put Suri first, and Suri loves her mom more than anything. It turns out Katie Holmes has made the decision to hide her daughter, Suri, from the unforgiving glare of notoriety in order to provide her with a more secure life following the dissolution of her relationship with Tom Cruise. And in order to accomplish this, she needed to be distanced from Tom Cruise, her father, who has been at the center of various scandals due to the Scientology beliefs he has held throughout his life. Well, do you really think Scientology is the reason behind this? And will Suri ever get a chance to see his father? Only time will tell. That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.